Hello, everybody. This is Alia Jamal, the Love Coach, and we are starting our love circle today. Just going to let person come in. I'm just making sure that, okay, perfect. So we are starting our love circle today, and the topic is effective communication. Now, communication is something we are using all day long, all the time, ever since we are little, but it can also create so many problems in our relationships, in our relationship with ourselves and in our relationship with other people. So what we are going to do today, I'm going to share with you a very, very, very simple thing that you can start implementing from now on. And it can completely transform the way you communicate, the way you receive things, the way you share things with others. And that is going to bring ease in your relationships. Because when someone does not understand what you're trying to say or the point that you're trying to make, it can be very frustrating. And I don't know about you guys, but I have been in that part of my life where I am sharing something with somebody. First of all, I don't even know how to communicate it because I'm just like, this person is not going to understand what I'm saying. They're not going to understand my point, or feeling so frustrated that I can't even communicate. I can't even speak. I can't even say what I really want to say. And I would just end up walking away. And sometimes walking away doesn't really help. So we want to make sure we stay in control. We all are about creating control and safety within us, so we can share that with the other person. So let's start with what communication is. It's being able to share our opinions, our ideas, our thoughts effectively and clearly with someone else, where they are able to understand at the same level that we are sharing. So they are not understanding something completely different because we are sharing it with so much clarity. And sometimes you might have experienced you're speaking the words, but the other person is not receiving. So we are going to go deeper into it. We are going to talk about the energetics of it as well, why that happened. So first, let's understand the different levels we communicate at. We are communicating with our words. So we are using our voice. The tone of our voice can make such a big difference. That is what we'll be paying attention to. We are communicating with our physical gestures. So I'm using my hand, I'm going like this. And if I start doing like this, you're not gonna like it. Because when we are pointing finger, the other person is receiving that physical communication. Then there is energetical communication. No, that is once you understand and master that, oh my God, you're gonna have so much fun in your communication. It's going to be light, expanded, easy. Energetic communication is while me and you are talking, my energy body is talking to your energy body. I don't know what my energy body is saying. You have no idea what your energy body is receiving, but when we walk away, we might have talked about some really wonderful things, but you walk away feeling a little different, weird. You're like, we were having really good conversation, but what is this feeling that I'm feeling? My energy body communicated something with your energy body, and now they are on the same vibration. So that energy body, we want to learn how to connect with it, control it, and make sure it's congruent to what we are saying. That is when the other person can clearly receive what you're saying. They are not receiving a double binding message. Because when an energy body is saying something else, our words are saying something else, our physical body is saying something else, the other person is completely confused. Maybe when you were little, you might have experienced this, that your mom is crying, but she's telling you, honey, everything is okay, I'm fine. But she's crying. And your mind is like, but she's crying. How can everything would be okay? Us mothers do that all the time. We would try to suppress our emotion and completely confuse our kids because we just don't want to share that part of us with them because we think they're too little, which is completely okay. But that would be a very easy example of double binding message. So these are the three levels that we are communicating at. And our communication does get impacted and disturbed through our life experiences. Some of us, we learn to just keep things to ourselves. I'm just putting my notes here. Hopefully we'll stay. Some of us, we completely, kind of mess up the way we communicate because of our experiences. So first thing that can impact the way we communicate is bullying. Even if you got bullied by your older siblings, some people get bullied by their younger siblings. Maybe you got bullied by your friends in an early age. So when another person is just telling you, putting you down over and over, we kind of go into that place within us. My voice don't matter. I don't matter. So when you're an adult and someone have no idea what you're saying, and you can't even articulate what you're trying to say, you're just going to leave it alone, walk away, withdraw from people, and call yourself introvert. Because you tried, it didn't work, it hasn't worked all your life, so you have kind of given up. Another thing that can impact our child, from our childhood, our way of communication is when our parents kind of give us double messages. So what that would look like, we are not allowed to express ourselves. We are not allowed to be who we are. They want us to be somebody else that they would feel okay with. Now, what does that even mean? For example, your mom took you to your aunt's place and you were 5 and you're just like, oh my God, look at this place. There's so many shiny objects. And then you started touching everything and your mom got really upset. She wanted you to sit in a corner, quiet, not touch anything, not even complain that you're getting bored. So all you heard, be quiet and stay here, be quiet and stay here. So those messages get into your mind. And as an adult, you might be experiencing that when someone is not understanding you, instead of correcting them, instead of expressing them, you just withhold yourself. So if we bring that experience into our intimate relationship, it really becomes a ticking bomb. That kind of miscommunication or suppressed communication eventually blows out of proportion because our intimate relationships are the places where we are supposed to become 100% honest and authentic and give ourselves permission to be whoever we want to be. That is what brings people together like this. Otherwise, the other person keep feeling something is missing, something is fishing, this person is not being honest, and that creates separation and distance between two people. So I'm going to more focused on our intimate relationship or relationship with our blood relation, for example, our kids, your siblings, your parents. But we can take all of this and apply it into our workspace, with our friends, with complete random strangers. But those are the areas I'll be focusing on and I'll be giving examples of as well. So let's dig right into that. What is not working when we are communicating with someone and just like, you know what, we really need communication help. We need to either go for couples therapy or we need to, or maybe I need to learn. So what's actually going on? One of the things that is going on, I'm going to talk about 3 things. We are not even understanding what I want to say and how other person is receiving it. So that basic understanding, that connection with where the other person is and where I am, there's a disconnect between that. So I could be just saying, you know, I want to do this, I want to do that, and other person is receiving something completely different. they are maybe thinking, oh, you don't care about them. So we are not even understanding that the other person is not understanding me. We just right away go into assumption. So that is where, there is a communication gap. That's what we call it. Another thing that gets us into trouble is expecting the other person to understand everything we are saying, that they are actually getting it. Again, that expectation, because we live so much in our head. Anyone who have a communication problem, communication gaps, they are living right here. So when I'm living right here, I know what's going on in my head, but you have no idea what's going on in my head. But I am expecting that you would know what's going on in my head. It's so interesting that we are not even aware that you are a separate person than me. You cannot read my thoughts. So one of the things you might have heard, maybe with your friends or with a couple, that you can see that they both are expecting from each other to read each other's thoughts. You can see it, but they cannot see it. The same thing goes on within us too. It's so much easier to see these gaps, this disconnect in other people, and it's so much harder to see them within ourselves. That's why we always need someone else's help to look at that. And the third thing is realizing we all hear things, receive things from having specific filters in our system. And those filters are our own biases. We all have our own internal processing system. Just like a computer has a processor, we have a processor. If you said something to me, I'm going to take it, process it, give it my own meaning, could be very different than the meaning you gave it, and I'm just going to run with that. And that is, when we don't realize that is what's going on, we can get very upset with somebody. Hey, I didn't mean that. How could you think I mean that? It can really get into a heated discussion and strained relationships. Well, once we start understanding every single human have a very unique mechanism within them, a way of processing the information they are receiving, and it is 100% unique for everybody. When they receive it, they're going to process it that way, and that is the meaning they are going to give it. It doesn't even matter what meaning you're giving. I had earlier this week, I had an experience of that. I was talking to someone, you can say a stranger, and we tried talking a couple of times. Every time we are talking, what I'm saying, the other person is receiving completely differently. And it was just like, okay, I can't even carry this conversation because it seemed like I'm talking to a wall, because that's how their filters were. And the gap was so far apart. I understand it, I respect it, I honor it, but I don't want to keep talking. If I didn't have that understanding that there is like, that is what's going on, their processing system is completely different than mine. If I did not have that awareness, I was going to get upset. I was going to be like, maybe I don't know how to talk. Like, there were so many things were going to happen. But when we bring understanding, we also bring compassion and kindness. And then we can decide, okay, is it time to just, stop talking? Because we are not two people even compatible to have a conversation without blaming anybody, without judging anybody at all. So that is the kind of lightness that I'm talking about. So these are the three ways you can tell pretty much what it really comes down to. No matter what you say, the other person is going to hear it on a very different level than where you are. And the more you understand that, the more you can openly share with them, what do you really mean? Now, if you're talking to a complete stranger, at first you're just like, okay, you're not understanding my point, adios. But if you're talking to your partner, you're talking to your child, you don't want to sit there and you want to have a deeper communication. So you both get on the same page. Hey, this is what I say when I say this. So this is how we can resolve it. Now let's go into 3 things that you can do for very, very easy, effective communication. While I was preparing for this, I did a little bit of Google research just to see what comes up for effective communication. So it was more like, in a boardroom setting, concise, precise, 7 C's, this and that. I'm not going to do any of that fancy stuff. We're going to keep it very simple. First one is your energy. The energy you're speaking with, that has to be in a very different place. So we are going to use this methodology I learned in Art of Feminine Presence. So what this basically is, don't talk from here. Talk from your heart, talk from your lower back. What does that mean? Bringing your awareness from your head to either your heart, either to your lower back. As you move your awareness from your head to either your heart or to your lower back, your energy body shifts completely. Your tone of voice will shift. Your words choice will shift. If you have not realized already, now that I'm speaking from my lower back, I am speaking in a very paced way. So if let's say we are having a face-to-face communication, you are going to feel that groundedness. So your energy body is going to come on the same level and you're going to receive everything I am saying exactly how I'm saying it, because it's almost like we are at the same level. You're not stuck in your head thinking about what's happening tomorrow, what happened yesterday. I'm not stuck in my head thinking what happened yesterday, what's happening tomorrow. We both are right here in this moment, and I am sharing with you whatever I want to share in this moment, and you're receiving that moment. So when we keep that energetical piece in mind, your communication is just going to skyrocket. No matter who you're talking to, they'll understand, they'll be on the same page, because when you control your energy, you can control everybody else. Especially if you're female and you're talking to a man, our tone of voice sometimes is not really received by the man. I have tried it with my ex-husband, even when we were married. I have tried it with my son, and it really works. It really is true. Because they have a different frequency of their voice than we do. But when you bring your awareness in your lower back, you can even say in your womb area, when you bring your awareness there and you talk from that place, they will understand it. So when I am going a little bit crazy that my son is not listening to me, why he's not getting ready, I go into my own little hole. I catch myself and I'm like, okay, Alia, where were you talking from? Most likely from here, thinking we're going to get late for school. So I calm myself down, bring my awareness in my lower back, and then I speak from there. My pitch is very different. My tone is different. The words that come out of my mouth is different. And the kid shows up right away and everything works out. It works like magic every single time, because it takes care of all the different levels of communication. So if you get nothing else from this conversation, this short conversation, just remember this: talk from your hip. You can imagine your lips are there and you're literally talking from them. Now, this is going to take a little bit of practice. We are so used to living here, speaking from here. We are not very connected with our heart unless you have done the work and you have started to live from it. And lower back feels even way out of our league. We rarely visit that area, especially for women. Only when they have their period, that's when they're aware, oh, okay, I have something here that is hurting right now. And even that connection is not a pleasant one. So the more you pay attention to your lower back while you're talking, you're going to see a huge difference in how well the other person is receiving and also how well you're able to communicate anything that you want to say. Now, this piece you can take all over your life. You can take it to work. You can take it when you're doing a presentation, when you are talking to a random strangers, your friends, your family, those very difficult relationships. It works everywhere. Now, let's jump into the second one, and that is the tone of your voice. I did mention it a little bit. When you bring your awareness to your lower back, your tone changes. But if, let's say, you don't have that practice yet, so just taking a moment, let's say you're about to talk to your intimate partner, you're about to talk to them, just take a moment and come in this present moment and ask yourself, what am I saying, why I'm saying it, and what tone I'm using. You might feel like, oh, okay, Alia, that sounds really fake. Now I'm not being my true self. Our true self is our higher self. That is our true self. We all are in a process of getting to that level. The self that shows up day to day, like, whether it's like your funky, weird side or your jolly side or your angry side that we label as, oh, that is who I truly am. That is just a conditioned self for that moment. That's not your true self. Your true self is your higher self. And your true self sees the God in the other person. So the true self is not going to get upset with the other person. Now we are going in a deep tangent. So in that moment, if you will take a split second to recognize you are talking to another soul that is just as perfect as you are, and how do you want to use your words, your tone of voice, that they feel loved? It's not about becoming a doormat or, being fake. It's about reverence for another divine being. So if you will take a moment to adjust your tone, the volume of your voice, and the words that you're about to use, it is going to bring magical compassion in your relationships. You're going to feel good when you would treat someone with that kind of importance. And the other person is going to feel that energy coming from you, that this person has taken a moment to adjust their tone. You might have experienced that maybe with somebody who's a little bit older. When I'm saying older, maybe people in their 60s or 70s. I have seen them naturally do it because they have had that kind of experience in life. They're not in a hurry. They don't just, get out of control with their emotion that much. They'll pause, they'll think, they'll adjust their tone, and then they will talk to you. You don't have to be 60, 70 to do that. You can start doing that from now on. But the foundation would be the reverence for the divine being that you're about to talk to. That person could have, maybe just hurted you 30 minutes ago with their words. But when you show up with that kind of kindness, they feel it. And any gap that is being created, it gets healed with that energy as well. The other person feel pulled towards you. You can apply this anywhere as well. You can apply this to, kids. I don't know if you ever have a boss who have mastered that level of communication, it's so wonderful to work for them because they always know how to talk to you, whether they are sharing the good criticism or the bad criticism or whatever, but at the same time make you feel so important. So that is what it does. Now, the third thing we are going to get into is asking for eye contact. Now, of course, we cannot use that for every relationship. You can use that for your kids. You can use that for your intimate partner if they are not understanding or like, they're just in their head to say, hey, listen, can you please look in my eyes? Look in my eyes. This is what I'm trying to say. When someone looks in your eye, they right away exit this. They are not there. And it's like energetically you're connected like this. Whatever you're going to say, that energy is going to be carried over to them. I mean, if we can, that would be the best way to communicate and relieve any communication gap, when we can just look in each other's eyes and talk. I have noticed this when the TV is on, my son is so sucked into the TV. Of course, I understand how TV is supposed to do that. And I'll be saying something and be like, oh yeah, I'll do it, mom. He's like, hooked into the TV and he's just doing that. Instead of getting upset, I would just go close to him and I'll say, can you look in my eyes? And he'd be like, no, I'm hearing it. I'm hearing, no, look in my eyes. When he does that, then I say something, it gets received right away. Saves us so much headache, trouble, yelling, screaming, me trying to put down the kid. It eliminates all of that. So 3 things that you can keep in mind. One is speaking from your hip and taking a pause and a moment to adjust what I'm about to say, why I'm saying it, and how I'm going to say it, the tone of my voice I'm going to use. And the 3rd thing is asking for eye contact whenever it's possible, because it creates a very deep level of trust. So the other person does not feel threatened by you. That's why if you will read any leadership or development books, they all rave eye contact, look in another person's eyes and then talk. Of course, it does have cultural differences. I'm not aware exactly what, but I am sure that there are some cultures where looking in the eye is not considered polite. I know here in the US, we love to look in each other's eyes and talk like that. But use it based on wherever you are in the world. And the most important thing to keep in mind is when you are trying to say something and the other person is maybe receiving it differently, it's not that there's something wrong with you, something wrong with them, you're not saying it right. The way other person is receiving the way of thinking and mechanism that is within them is different than yours. And that is exactly what I help my clients change. The way they think when something comes to them, I help them change that. And magical things happen when we change that, how our life shifts. So it's something real, it's something big, exists within all of us. If you just become aware of that and start talking with that level of awareness, you're going to have so much ease and fun in your communication. So I hope this little effective communication, education was helpful and you walked away with some wonderful points. If this is the work that you want to do, you want to go deeper, reach out to me and we can have a conversation about that. So that is all for today. I'll see you all next Thursday. Love you. Bye.